So I'm a Tesla employee here in Austin, Texas at Gigafactory, and it is by far the best job I've ever had in my life. In a nutshell, I'm a production mechanic in Zone 1, and we call that Zone 1 because it's the beginning of the production line. It's where everything starts, outside of the stamping of the body panels and the casting of the front and rear underbodies of the Model Y. Zone 1 is where they basically drill that and add parts to that, and that's basically where the car starts to form and you see a car at the end of the line. So without giving any details and Tesla top secret information, that's my job in a nutshell. I basically chase robots all around and make sure they stay in sequence, make sure they don't need to be rehomed. If they do, I fix that, or if they get stuck, they fall out of sequence, tables get out of sequence. There's all kinds of different stuff. My job is very all over the place, kind of. You're a little bit like the police of the production line. You're making sure associates are doing their job, they're doing it right. You're teaching people learning points on lockout. You're teaching safety. You're really kind of like the go-to guy in the factory that knows a little bit of everything about everything, and that's kind of where I specialize. And at Tesla, and I've never been at any other place that does this, but at Tesla, we do like breakdown reports, and we have to go into PowerPoint. We have to do a lot of really cool stuff like that. So, well, some people may not think it's cool, but I actually really enjoy it, and I'm really good at it. And so, actually, I think they use one of my breakdown reports as like the standard for what you're supposed to do, which is pretty freaking badass. But anyways, so let's speculate though, because there's two things that people always ask me about when they find out I'm a Tesla employee. Like almost immediately they ask me, when is Cybertruck coming out? And my answer is always, it's coming out. I promise you that, and that's about all I can say about it. There's news on Twitter. You can follow Elon. You can follow the company on Twitter, and whatever information is on there is the same exact information I'm going to give you here. So it's coming. That's about all I'll say about that. But we are going to speculate about the motorcycle. Because that's the second question I always get asked. Will Tesla ever release a motorcycle? And Elon is on record, and I'm not sure why this is. I'm sure somebody could put it in the comments. I've heard different rumors that maybe somebody he known, or maybe somebody's really close to him, either got hurt really bad or killed on a motorcycle. So for that reason, I heard he would never release a motorcycle, but I don't know that for sure. But I've heard different people say it. I've just never bothered to research it myself. But there is one thing that I know for sure. Motorcycles aren't going anywhere, and they're very popular, and their carbon footprint on the earth is so small that it's like, even when the entire world is like full electric, and you're talking like 5 years from now, guys, when like most things are going to be electric cars, like even tractor trailers. I mean, you're talking 5 years. You're talking in a year, 2 years, you're going to see way more electric cars starting to be produced. You're getting the new economy car from Tesla. There's all kinds of like big changes coming in the next 5 years. Okay, so whether it's 5 or 10 years, it's in our lifetime, in my lifetime for sure. You are going to see more just electric cars, like out in your parking lots of your apartments or the mall. It's going to be like 90% electric cars. You won't see that in motorcycles so much. I think the combustion engine stays in the motorcycles probably for the next foreseeable future, because it's that getaway passion. It's that sound of the engine. It's not really, there's no real reason to stop making them, but there is a reason to start making electric motorcycles. And of course, for me being a Tesla employee, it would be badass to have a Tesla motorcycle. So I think that a Tesla motorcycle could be a really cool idea if it was super, super safe. And what I mean by that is, like, you look at the technology we have now on these bikes, and this is a Ducati Panigale V2. It is a 2023, and it is loaded with all the top tech pretty much a motorcycle can offer, outside of freaking heated grips and cruise control and a gas gauge. But who needs those three things, right? Like, no, like, I'll never buy a motorcycle again that doesn't have heated grips. The gas gauge, whatever, super bikes don't have gas gauges. But anyways, like outside of those couple things, this thing has traction control, wheelie control, all kinds of different technology different technology to help you just not, crash the bike or be safe. But, as far as I know right now, there's no motorcycle in development that is taking that a step farther, like having like a integrated suit or helmet that attaches to the bike in some way that, would let you or alert you preemptively, like would alert you or let you know that, there's a bad driver a few miles ahead, or like, hey, that car that you're coming up on 200 feet, like, swerved 3 times in the last hour, or this guy here behind you, coming up behind you, ran the last red light. He's speeding, you know what I mean? He's in the left lane. He's got a history of accidents. Like, all this information would be available to you through a heads-up display on your helmet, but also attached to the bike. So the bike could safely, I don't want to say it's going to take over control of riding, but it could also help you, or take you out of way before you would be able to do that. And honestly, like, the way AI is going right now with, you got the chat GPT, and people are just typing these things into their phones, but what people don't understand is actually how powerful this it really is. Like, you can really have, I don't think people understand how AI and, all of that is actually going to work. I think right now people are just, like, having fun, or they're asking it questions in their phone, and it's telling them. It's actually lying to them, too, without them even knowing, which is even creepier. So there's a big change, and you're seeing a lot of this change within, like, the next year. Like, this isn't like, oh, in 25 years we're going to have this, like, crazy AI system. No, this isn't like 10 months we're going to have this crazy AI system that's, like, available, you know what I mean? And right now it's available. Like, people are using ChatGPT to get rich. ChatGPT, I use it to get money. Like, I'm having it ask me how to budget my money and the right way to make it the most money. I'm literally asking how to get me views on YouTube, and it's telling me what videos to put out and what not to put out. Like, Chat GPT is pretty sick, like, if you use it in a positive manner. But when people start using it negatively, like, what if people, like, are asking it, like, how to, who knows? Like, you could just speculate, all kinds of craziness. We're not going to really get into AI. This is really supposed to be about motorcycles, but it's all kind of connected in one thing. Like, the motorcycle industry, to my best understanding, there is no one who's developing a helmet that has a smart AI system integrated into it that's going to give you a heads-up display on everything that's going around. And I think mainly that's because the only cars it's going to communicate with is the Teslas. And that's not such a bad thing because, and despite what people say about Teslas running into motorcycles or whatever, that number is very small compared to the amount of people that actually run into motorcycles that don't have Teslas. So, the Tesla car is super, super safe. It doesn't just plow into motorcycles. There's always other things at play. And as far as I know, there's only like a few of those cases. Maybe, I can't count them. I didn't really look it up. But I do know it's nowhere close to the amount of actual people who fatally hit a motorcycle and kill that person. So, and it's like, I was hit on a motorcycle, so I know what it feels like to get hit by a car on a motorcycle. And how crazy would it have been for, like, in the situation that I was in, let's just think about it for a second. There was a person who, I slowed down for a road hazard. But what if my bike knew I didn't need to slow down for that road hazard? The bike's way smarter than me. The helmet's way smarter. It knows you don't need to slow down. Why are you slowing down? Go. You're fine. Right? So human error is always a factor in everything in one way, shape, or form. It all around the spectrum of that situation that I was in. There was the fact that I slowed down. There was the fact that the lady behind me pulled out too, like, super fast to go around me. And then there was the fact that that guy was behind her who sped into me. So there's a lot going on now. Now, all three of these vehicles are communicating together as one. This never happens. Like, period. And if it even does get close to happening, the bike can safely judge the area around me and run me off the road, and would have been way better off, maybe, than me getting hit by the car, right? Like, maybe it just gets me to safely, like you just takes over and it speeds up and goes and or whatever. And then so the argument could be made, well, I don't want my bike taking over control, like that's super crazy too. And so sure, but at the same time, now, you know, maybe, you know, there's different settings and stuff. You can set it more powerful or whatever, because a lot of people just want to get on their bikes and ride, like, you know, running the throttle and doing the whole thing, like, you know, the clutch and even the clutch down. Like, I don't use a clutch on this bike. There is no clutch. Like, the only time you push the clutch in is to start and stop this motorcycle. The entire time you're driving it, you are never using this, riding it. You're literally just pushing down on the shifter. And I say push down because it's GP shift on this bike. So there's no clutch. It's just a quick shifter and an auto blip to go back up in the gears. When you come to a complete stop, you gotta pull the clutch in there. You're gonna stall the motorcycle. In the future, you know, like people, like that's even too much work. You know what I mean? So like people, you're just super lazy. Like the old hardcore motorcycle, you know, like to pull the clutch and do the whole thing. I don't want to do that. I honestly don't want to do that. Right? The experience with this, with the whole shifting and you go, like, yeah, that's badass. That's fun. But like, man, I don't know, guys. Like, when you see an idea for like a Tesla bike and my idea for the Tesla bike, like this thing is gonna sound ridiculous. First of all, like that's the biggest thing with electric bikes, where people are like, they sound, what are they gonna, they're not gonna make any sound. No, this thing is gonna sound like the craziest induction motor sound you've ever heard. Like literally like a Tron bike. Like it's just gonna make this crazy humming electrical sound, and it's going to be badass. And like it can be amplified, it can be all kinds of different things. You can use your imagination, because when you have a smart bike like that is communicating with the rider and all the other cars around it, you literally have almost an uncrashable machine, right? And these things are going to look awesome, right? They're not going to just look like, you know, you've seen the Tron with the big stupid ugly wheels and all that. That's all fake stuff. Like you could imagine like what a actual real electric super bike would look like. You know what I mean? Like a Tesla would, like it would, like the symbol of Tesla, first of all, is already badass. You just flip it on its side, there you go, got a motorcycle, right? So it's just like you can make it look so awesome, and it's very possible, you know. And I would like to see some kind of a smart helmet, but like I was saying, I think that you're probably going to see more electric cars first, and then see helmet companies catch up. Or maybe there's smart helmets now. I know like there are some really cool helmets coming out, like with camera systems and stuff and all that, but you know, a lot of these are kind of gimmicky right now and not really taken off in the motorcycle community. That's why I'm saying like the motorcycle community is not going to be harmed by the electric automotive industry by any shape or form. It's just not going to happen, guys. Even in the future, you're talking 20 years from now, you're still going to have, I'm still going to rip this Panigale around, or a Panigale, whatever one I have, whether it's the new V4R, whatever bike I get in a year from now, or 2 years from now, or whatever. These bikes, I'm always going to ride them. I'm always going to have them. I'm always going to rip them around, and they're not going to stop me, right? This is America. As long as it's a free country, I'm going to freely ride my motorcycle wherever the hell I want. But it's not going to stop me from having the latest and greatest in technology and motorcycles when that day comes. Like if I'm 80 years old and I'm some grand wizard Tesla, you know, whatever by then, some grand wizard Tesla robot mechanic at 80, I'm not going to want to ride a freaking Panigale to work every day. I'm going to ride something. It's going to be a Tesla hyper super bike that literally can do 200 miles an hour on a mag strip on the road, and I don't have to do nothing but just sit there, and it's just cool, right? It's just like whatever. You're out on the elements, and you're ripping this thing, and it's totally safe. I'm 80, right? Like these younger guys and the younger generations, guys like, you know, that are 20, and this is happening. Sure, they're gonna freaking find programs to download like that'll chip the AIs in the bike. And you can drop the mag road and switch lanes and do illegal shit. That's always going to be a thing. It's never going to stop. As long as there is somebody who's creating something, there's going to be somebody who creates something to make it better and illegal. You know what I mean? Make money off of it. The future is here. We are at such a pivotal moment in time. We're at a very exciting time in the automotive industry and the electric car industry, and just if you're in this world. I feel like, just kind of sitting back, working at Burger King, flipping burgers, you need to kind of step your game up at this point. It's not, or, you have some office job. I mean, robotics and robots and, smart AI in a silicone body is going to happen. It's happening, and they're going to take over. It's literally, they're going to be at McDonald's serving you food, and you may not even know the difference. They may come to a point where it's literally a human skin graft on a silicone body of a robotic AI, and you are going to have no idea. And I'm talking in 10 years. So these kind of things are very possible. It's how many of you seen the interview with Elon and Tesla? Or Tucker Carlson. I'm not a big fan of Fox, but like Tucker's okay, and I pretty much watch everything that Elon does. My boss, I like to keep up to date with everything that he does and says because it affects like pretty much everything. So, I keep up with what he's doing because it's important to me. You know what I mean? It's important for my stocks and what I'm going to do in my future. And, I work for his company. And I value my job as an employee at Tesla. Like, I really like it. And it's like, people complain about, like, one thing about Tesla is that I've noticed is, for my job at least, and everybody has access to this, is the stock program you get when you're an employee there is pretty amazing. Like, my retirement, I don't need a retirement. I literally gonna have like ridiculous amounts of money in stocks, and it's just like you can play that card however you want as an employee. You can put, however much percentage out of your check you want into the shares, and right now they're low, and one day they're gonna be high, and it's a really good thing. And if Tesla falls, which it won't. We got bigger problems, and that's the thing I always tell people. It's like, whoa, Tesla, what are you gonna do when Tesla stock falls? And like, if Tesla falls, the country falls, the world's over. We probably got bigger problems to worry about, and the last thing gonna be in my mind is what am I gonna do with my YouTube channel and my freaking Ducati? Like at that point, so I think people don't understand. Like people, I don't know, I just try to have a little bit of fun and speculate about the motorcycle thing. I think, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. I think that, electric motorcycles, there will be a place for them in this industry, but it's not going to go away overnight or anytime soon because we still love these things, and the carbon imprint, it doesn't affect anything. It doesn't do like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much carbon because there's so many cars on the highway. It's not because there's motorcycles all over the place. Like, there's very limited amount of motorcycles on the road as compared to cars like driving. So, I think though there are going to be companies like Harley and Ducati are going to release electric bikes, and I have been looking at the Ducati electric. What they're doing and their plans. They have the races now. They have some things in the works. The Livewire, I'm going to try to test drive this year for you guys. I know the Harley dealer up here does some things. Just so you guys can get to see and I can see and kind of feel how it feels. So I'm going to do that. Just got to, go do it, really. But as far as like the combustion engined motorcycle, we're going to be fine, guys. If anything, we're going to start seeing smart helmets. And we're going to start seeing our motorcycles become smarter. We're going to start seeing Ducatis with heads-up displays in the windscreens. We're going to start seeing BMWs with heads-up displays in the windscreens. We're going to start seeing helmets that have heads-up displays. We're going to start seeing really cool stuff like that in the next, 3 to 5 years. As far as, fully safe automated or fully safe AI bike with a fully air suit that comes with it and integrated smart helmet. We're quite a ways away from that, but we're not as far as you may think. And the technology's here. It's just like who's going to create it. I really wish Tesla would, because I would head that. I'd be like, Elon, just hire me. I would literally head that operation. You're gonna have one, the coolest bike that sells the best, and two, it's gonna look awesome, sound awesome, and be safe. And we wouldn't even release the bike if there was any possibility that had any kind of unsafe, AI thing that would throw you off it or something like that. Do you remember in some of the movies they had a bike? I think it was a car actually. It might have been RoboCop or something, but like the whole thing like turned to foam. I mean, this is not something that's impossible. You know what I mean? Like you could like just spray foam out of your head and like, you know, I don't know. And anyways, these are all things we're gonna see though. Like companies are gonna start having to catch up to the automotive industry as far as the electric cars go, because motorcycles, we need to be able to communicate and see what the cars are doing around us. And I think that is going to be the play in the future for bikes within the near future, right? You're going to see the helmets and the heads-up displays first on the bikes. And can you imagine being able to know and have the information on the cars on the highway that you're coming up on or that are coming up behind you, or who's here or whatever at the light, what this car is fixing to do, or is there prone to an accident nearby to like you. This is gonna happen. This is something this is not just my imagination, guys. This is like literally going to happen, because it exists as technology that they're creating. Like in the new Tesla cars, like these cars can like they're gonna be able to predict future accidents and prevent them from happening. Like that's super crazy and awesome. And so, but as far as like, you know, these, you know, you guys as well as me, like I love motorcycles, man, and I love super bikes specifically. I love all bikes. Like I love Harleys, I love supermotos, I love old street bikes, I love super sports, I love adventure bikes, scramblers, dirt bikes. But my passion is super bikes. They're the coolest, sexiest looking machines that have ever graced our eyes on this planet Earth. And so I love them for that, and I love dressing up like a freaking Power Ranger when I ride it. You know what I mean? So the gear now is super safe, but it can be better. It's going to be better, and like that's kind of what this video is. This is kind of a little fun video, maybe like a podcast type of thing. I've been trying to work back into the channel a little bit. But anyway, guys, 20 minutes too long. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about motorcycles and the future of that. And yeah, love you guys. Peace. Also, guys, don't forget to shop in the link below for Raven Moto to get yourself some badass motorcycle gear. If you need any, use my discount code Hardcity, all capital letters. That gets you 10% Make sure you check out MONI Moto GPS tracker in your bike. Not everyone can pull their bike in the house or has somewhere safe to keep your bike. No one's gonna really get it in here. But if you do have to leave it in the mall parking lot, the pizza shop parking lot, wherever you're parking it, make sure you have a GPS tracker. Go ahead and follow that link below. That's how you support the channel. If you need workwear, because I know you got to work for a living to get these cool bikes, if you need that, go to 1620. That link will be below. All of those affiliates will help this channel, guys. You guys are great for using those affiliates. It really helps me out a lot.